Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, February 25th, 2020. Hope so far everybody is up and ready to have a good day. It's another good day to have a good day. Good morning to the folks joining me on the GBN Television Facebook page. Those of you on GBN Television channels 7, 11, and 20. Those of you on the Grenada Broadcasting Network YouTube channel. And of course, the people who are always with me, the loyal listeners of Classic 105.5. 105.9. Bright good morning to each and every one of you. Those of you around the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Antigua, Anguilla, Dominica, Jamaica, St. Martin, Puerto Rico, Martinique. Where am I missing? I'm missing a few. Don't worry, I'll expand it soon time. Those of you internationally, US, Canada, Switzerland, Sweden, Germany, United Kingdom, China, North Korea, South Korea, the entire continent of Africa, Kenya, Nigeria. I'm missing some. I know I'm missing some. Don't worry, I'll get there eventually. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is off to a good start. So hopefully you're either having breakfast or about to. It'll be a fulfilling one that can take you at least to mid-morning, midday, and it can sustain you. Good morning to the students around the island. Good morning to each and every one of the young minds that are getting ready to start the school day. Hopefully you'll learn at least one new thing today. That's my wish, to learn one new thing every day. So hopefully all of our students can do that today. Make the extra effort, even if it's just to read something on your own. It doesn't have to be in school. But try and learn something new today, at least one new thing today. All right, as usual, you guys know how it starts here on Good Morning Grenada. It's time for this morning's Word of the Day. And this morning's Word of the Day is dissemble. Dissemble. D-I-S-S-E-M-B-L-E. Dissemble. It's a verb which means to hide under a false appearance, to put on the appearance of, or to put on a false appearance to conceal facts, intentions, or feelings under some pretense. Dissemble. D-I-S-S-E-M-B-L-E. We don't have anything to hide. Dissemble is a synonym of disguise, cloak, and mask. Disguise implies a change in the appearance or behavior that misleads by presenting a different apparent identity. Cloak suggests a means of hiding a movement or an intention. Mask suggests some often obvious means of hiding or disguising something. Dissemble stresses the intent to deceive, especially about one's own thoughts or feelings, and often implies that the deception is something that would warrant censure if discovered. The word of the day this morning, dissemble, D-I-S-S-E-M-B-L-E. It's a verb which means to hide under a false appearance. An example of the use of the word, the front room of the gallery will feature the artist's new work presented in a large scale and a salon-style arrangement of miniature vignettes that dissemble various elements of his inhabited landscapes. Word of the day, dissemble, D-I-S-S-E-M-B-L-E, a verb which means to put on the appearance of, to hide under a false appearance, to conceal facts, intentions, or feelings under some pretense. I know a lot of people who dissemble. A few come to mind. I'm sure a lot of you can think of a few people who dissemble. I like saying the word dissemble. Okay, this morning's thought of the day, I find they actually kind of go together. This morning's thought of the day, I can tell a lot about a person by what they choose to see in me. I can tell a lot about a person by what they choose to see in me. Some people only choose to see the bad. They only choose to see the negatives. You could do 99 good things, but the one bad you do, or not even a bad thing, maybe the one slightly off thing you do, that's the one they choose to recognize. That's how you can tell a lot about a person. The people who praise your goodness, praise your positivity, praise the good, the big things that you do in life, compare them to the people who are always dwelling and stressing and pointing out the negatives. And then you would know the kind of people that you have around you. So the thought for today, I can tell a lot about a person by what they choose to see in me. Even the people you don't know, the people who believe rumors, the people who hear something and they choose to run with it as gospel, that can tell you a lot about that person as well. So they don't have to be friends and acquaintances. They could be strangers who have heard things. And then you can know the kind of people you're dealing with. Or they may hear something, know of you, hear something, and they say, nah, that is not she. Then you can know a lot about a person. So remember that. I can tell a lot about a person by what they choose to see in me. Yep, a lot of people tell a lot about themselves without knowing it. Let's see what's celebrated today. A few things celebrated today. But what I'll point out, y'all know the sweet tooth coming through in a big. One of the things celebrated today it is Pancake Day. Pancake Day, very fitting for breakfast at the moment. Does the mere mention of the word pancake send your taste buds into overdrive? If so, Pancake Day on February 25th is for you. It's observed annually, and since beginning its first celebration in 2006, many restaurants have raised over millions of dollars to support charities in communities in which they operate simply by offering pancakes for breakfast. Today is Pancake Day. I should have known that before I left the house this morning, but don't worry. Later will be greater. Today it is also Chocolate Covered Nut Day. National Chocolate Covered Nut Day on February 25th recognizes the delicious and crunchy snack drizzle covered, dunked, or smothered in chocolate. The possibilities are endless with so many different types of nuts and chocolate combinations. Yep. Ping pong comes to mind. There's chocolate covered hazelnuts. My mouth is watering. I will recognize Chocolate Covered Nut Day. Better now on. All right. You only know there are things that you need to join in celebration of. Chocolate Covered Nut Day is one of them. Just as a note this morning, the Royal Grenada Police Force Traffic Department has advised that the Pearls Bridge in St. Andrew, in particularly, motorists need to take note that it will be closed to all vehicular traffic effective today, Tuesday, until further notice. Sorry, but it took a little while for it to get to that stage, unfortunately. So those of you who use the bridge, specifically drivers, take note that the bridge is closed to vehicular traffic until further notice. An assessment conducted by the Ministry of Works has determined that the bridge is unsafe and can no longer accommodate vehicular traffic. Motorists are advised to use alternative routes to get to their destinations. This action is a necessary measure to ensure the safety of the motoring public, and the Ministry of Works and Traffic Department of the RGPF apologize for any inconveniences caused. So drivers, users of the eastern side of the island, take note that the Pearls Bridge in St. Andrew is closed to vehicular traffic effective today, Tuesday, February 25th, until further notice to ensure the safety of everyone using the road. So find alternative routes in your thought process leaving the house. And it's time to get ready for this morning's Fast Facts. And following that, we'll get straight into the news. Those of you on radio will bring you the morning edition of news. And those of you on television will bring you the highlights of last evening's newscast. So into Fast Facts, into the news. This is Good Morning Grenada on GBN and Classic. Keep it locked to Good Morning Grenada. We'll be right back. South Sudan is considered the youngest country in the world. We'll tell you why in Fast Facts next. Some countries are hundreds of years old, while others can trace their nation's history back for thousands of years. But South Sudan in North Africa just gained its independence from Sudan in 2011, which currently makes it the youngest country in the world. South Sudan is bordered by Sudan to the north, Ethiopia to the east, Kenya to the southeast, Uganda to the south, the Democratic Republic of the Congo to the southwest, and Central African Republic to the west. Between January 9th and 15th, 2011, a referendum was held to determine whether South Sudan should become an independent country and separate from Sudan. 98.83% of the population voted for independence. South Sudan formally became independent from Sudan on July 9th, although certain disputes still remained, including the division of oil revenues, as 75% of all the former Sudan's oil reserves are in South Sudan. On July 9th, 2011, South Sudan became the 54th independent country in Africa. 5 days later, it became the 193rd member of the United Nations. And on July 27th, 2011, South Sudan became the 54th country to join the African Union. And that's some fast facts.
Good evening. This is News at 7. I'm Ken Roy-Baptiste.
And I'm Beverly Tellisford. One Hope St. Andrew resident lost her home to fire on Monday morning. The fire ravaged the home, leaving the occupants to seek shelter by immediate family. Akisha Felix has more.
On Monday at around 9 a.m., fire engulfed and destroyed a small wooden house in Hope St. Andrew. The occupants of the house include a mother and a 6-year-old son. During an interview with the GBN, the sister of the fire victim explained that her sister has been a victim of domestic violence and this morning's fire now adds to her sorrows. She said at this time the family will be grateful for any form of assistance given to them as everything was lost in the fire.
Well, basically you could see everything gone. Everything. She just wired her house last week and she got her current last week. She just got her TV, everything, and you could see everything gone. Stove, mom gave her the stove and everything, but her money spent for everything else. So she need clothes, food, she need a house.
The sister expressed her dissatisfaction in the response time of the fire department, and she believes more can be done to successfully save lives and belongings in the future.
Basically, from the time we heard the boom and we came outside and we saw the black smoke, I took out my phone and I called him immediately. The thing I forgot to do was take the officer name. I made the report, I gave her the address, I told her what was happening, I didn't tell her who started the fire because we wasn't sure who started the fire. And they didn't get here until the house was already on the ground. Everything was already gone. By the time the fire truck came, all they came to do was just all the little, whatever was, just the ashes. Everything was already on the ground when they came by. So as a concerned citizen, my problem is with the fire department. When you call them, they don't show up at the same time. Because I called them from after 9 and they didn't show up here until probably after 10. Minutes to 11 they came by and the house was already on the ground. None could be saved, nothing. We just had to watch it burn. It's a neighbor of ours that had to call a sergeant directly to his cell phone and tell him what was happening, and he made the call and they said they're already on the way. But that was like an hour later when they said it was on the way.
The actual cause of the house fire remains unknown as police investigation continues. Akisha Felix for GBN News.
Meanwhile, a weekend fire destroyed 2 houses in Chantemelle St. Patrick, leaving 2 individuals displaced, Ashley Alexander and David Jerome. Alexander spoke on what transpired over the weekend leading up to Sunday's fire.
Attempting to light a fire in his house around 7 o'clock in the evening. When I approached him to talk to him, at the moment the police was passing, I stopped the police and then they come and watch the situation. They asked David what he was doing there. He told them that he was lighting paper inside of the house. They only tell him that stop light the fire inside the house, stop light the paper inside of the house, and then just walk away. Yeah, and after 2 days after, the house get burned. But I was not around at the time. Yeah.
He said everything was lost in the fire, including some of his handcrafted goat skin drums. He noted that any form of assistance will be greatly appreciated.
I lost plenty of things. Mostly all of my clothes, stove, cylinder, my bed, my drums, facets. I lost around more than 15 drums inside there. Yeah, just a few I had time to save out. Comfortable. I wish I could have really get it speedily because I have a lot of other commitments to go through,
Now, tributes continue to pour in following the death of tourism icon Sir Royston Hopkins. Rena Pear has more.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell is among many sharing glowing tribute to his longtime friend and icon in the tourism industry, the late Sir Royston Hopkins, describing him as one of Grenada's best sons and a man who has done more for Grenada than many will do collectively in their lifetime. Sir Royston passed away on Saturday, just weeks after a medical procedure. In recalling the magnitude of Sir Royston's contribution, both to his business and benevolent efforts, Dr. Mitchell said he was a man of class with a desire and vision for excellence. He describes Sir Royston's passing as a major loss for Grenada, given his unwavering commitment to the country's development over the years. Sir Royston was also instrumental in helping to establish the Keith Mitchell Foundation and served as a member on the board. Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association, Alina Friday, extended condolences to the family of Sir Royston, as he will be greatly missed.
I would continue to say that Sir Royston played a key role, not only within our association, but within the tourism industry in Grenada and the wider Caribbean. He was a tourism icon, and I should say to say that he's a tourism icon is putting it lightly. He embodied excellence in everything that he did, and he led by example.
The CEO also stated that Sir Royston was a great contributor to the hotel and tourism industry in Grenada.
The Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association, along with our board of directors, management, and employees, extend our deepest condolences to Lady Betty, Sir Royston's family, and his staff, to all of his employees at Spice Island Beach Resort. So he's left a massive hole in our hearts and within the industry. But we believe and we know that his legacy will live on for years to come.
Resident of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, President Patricia Afonso Dash of Barbados, remembered the Grenadian businessman as a giant of a man, a bright light that lit up a room, not a man of half measures, but rather someone who believes that anything that was worth doing excellently. Afonso Dash credited Sir Royston's passion and engagement for helping build modern Caribbean tourism with a vision always larger than himself, his hotel and his island. Sir Royston served as a president of the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association, was a past president of CHTA, and was a recipient of the CHTA Hotelier of the Year Award. Among his numerous awards, he was recognized with a Caribbean Hotel and Resort Investment Summit Lifetime Achievement Award last year. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear reporting.
Other news, it can be considered a miracle as long-standing journalist Michael Bascom's daughter, Micah Bascom, is said to be making significant positive recovery signs after a gunshot to the head landed her in intensive care in the United States. Cherry Blackman Stephen has this report.
20-year-old Micah Bascom, the daughter of prominent Grenadian sports journalist Michael Bascom, has been shot and injured in the U.S. city of Buffalo. Micah, who is attending a university in Buffalo, was shot while returning to the university campus and is presently in ICU at a hospital in Buffalo. Bascom notified reporters on Monday saying that Micah remains in high spirits and have shown signs of improvement over the past few hours. GBN spoke with Michael Bascom, who is presently at his daughter's side in the U.S.
The good news is that we have heard from the doctors and they have indicated that prognosis is good. She's improving. In fact, her condition has improved greatly from the condition she was in on Sunday morning to that of Monday. The the sad part about it is that, and she's lucky to be alive, we can say, is that the bullet actually penetrated her skull and exited. Penetrated and exited her skull just above her left eye. So she's actually lucky to be alive, as the doctors indicated and described her as probably the miracle lady. We have met with the various departments of Buffalo police that are involved, that the university police, as well as the state police here in Buffalo, as well as some other officials of the university, and continuing the investigations. They have been gathering evidence, including video footage of the crime scene, so that they can make a determination as to what exactly took place.
Bascom says his daughter will remain under observation for some time due to the seriousness of the injury.
She has another scan to undergo on Tuesday morning, and she's also under 3 weeks of observation with the neurosurgeon, because it involves the brain, it involves the head. So that is something we cannot say at this stage, because it's because it was a wound to the head. It actually penetrated the skull, although it didn't stay, and she had internal bleeding around the brain area. Therefore, that is something that they said that they'll have to continue to monitor.
Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
Welcome back. Hundreds are on the streets of Carriacou this evening participating in Kayak Mass 2020.
We can tell you that the street jam this morning follows days of competition, including the Queen Show on Thursday, when Naomi Fraser was crowned at the Hillsborough Tennis Court.
On Friday night, Gavin Mozo was crowned 2020 Soca Monarch.
Last evening, Lady B won the de March Gras. Kayla B was second and Royalty was third.
And in the Groovy competition, Golden was crowned King.
Second place was Kayla B.
And third place went to Flavor.
Live on the line with us is Chairman of the Carriacou Carnival Committee, Princess John, to give us an update on the events so far. Good evening, Mrs. John.
Good evening, Mr. Baptist, and how are you?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. So most of the major events of Kayak Mass 2020 have taken place. For example, Queen Show, Soca Monarch, Jab Convention 5.0, and the Calypso and Groovy Finals. Your assessment of the staging of these events?
I can say that this year's festival, we have seen an improvement in all the different aspects of Carnival, from the competition, the Queen Show, the fancy mass on the strip. Everything has improved over the years.
Right. And relative to the winners of the major events, tell us who they are.
Okay, on Thursday night we have Majestic Thursday, and also we have Naomi Fraser representing PDH. She emerged winner of the 2020 Queen Show. On Friday, we had the Power Soca Monarch, and we had Killer B was dethroned on Friday in the Soca Monarch. He was dethroned by Gavin Moses, the Mozo. And Saturday, we had the Job Convention. There was no competition. Sunday, we had the Groovy and Calypso finals. And also, Killer B was dethroned in the Calypso Monarch. We had Lady B taking the Monarch this year. And in the Groovy, we had Golden retaining the crown.
Right, right. Princess John, what's on tonight?
Tonight we have the morning night mass. Earlier today we had the Juve, and this afternoon we had the fancy mass, and right later on tonight at 9:30 we have the Monday night mass carried in the streets of Hillsborough.
And what about tomorrow, Tuesday, relative to events?
Tuesday we have our unique Shakespeare mass. Started to start from 8 a.m. until 12 o'clock, and later on we have the parade of the bands as the last of the rest, where we have been judging of the fancy mass on the streets of Hillsborough.
Okay. I want to get your sense of the crowd turnout to the various events. I know Grenadians, of course, participated. They came up from Grenada, mainland. But also there was a group, a massive group, I understand, from the diaspora coming into Kayak Mass.
Definitely. We had a record number of persons partaking and participating and supporting Kayak March 2020. The streets of Hillsborough this morning with the Juve was filled to capacity. It was a very large crowd over the years. We have never seen so much persons in Kayak for the Juve. I mean, it was overwhelming to see all the streets of Hillsborough being filled with Grenadians, kayak Americans, good funded by ourselves. We said earlier on, it was a pleasure and it was amazing, to visit the streets of Hillsborough. This afternoon also we had the streets of Hillsborough in a festive mode with the fancy mass, and later on for the Monday night mass would be the same. I can tell you that a record number of persons visited our island this year, and we are so very grateful for the support and participation.
Oh. Right, okay. Well, thank you so very much for joining us this evening, Princess Harry John, the chairman of the Karakou Carnival Committee. We wish you the best, you and your team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, now the 27th annual International Soca Monarch Final was held in Trinidad last Friday. 2 Grenadian acts participated in the competition: Sherlin Skinny Banton George in the Groovy segment, and brothers Kellen and Kelson O'Geist, Looney Spark and Electrify in the Power category. Though the boys from Grenada did not place in the top 3 of the categories when results were announced, they delivered nothing short of exemplary performances, which was depicted through reactions on social media where fanatics deliberated the results. Throughout the season, GBN has been up to par with everything from semi-finals to preparations to Soca Monarch finals through Looney Spark and Electrify. Now that the competition is over, the brothers shared their experience.
International Soca Monarch 2020 was a great experience for us. Being it our third year, our third time in an International Soca Monarch final. We went inside that competition very confident. We gained so much experience over the years, and we just wanted to go out there and deliver and give the people a great show, and I believe that we did that very well. Our performance, for the people who viewed it, for the people who checked it out, for the people who were at the show, everybody was pleased with the performance, and to us, that was a win-win.
When asked about their satisfaction with the results, the brothers had this response.
We're satisfied with our delivery. Once I come off a stage and I feel pleased, then I know the people will be pleased, and once the people are pleased, I'm happy. So the result didn't matter. Once the people were happy and people were congratulating us, that's a win. That was a win in our book. So we left that competition as a winner still.
The crowned Groovy and Power Monarch were College Boy Jesse and Iowa George, respectively. Meanwhile, Skinny Banton's Wrong Again has been making a huge impact, not only in the neighboring island. BP Renegades, a steel pan orchestra in Trinidad and Tobago, performed the song at Panorama Large Band Finals, and video footage has been circulating on social media of a Spanish cover of the song.
One business operator in close proximity to Progress Park in St. Andrew is calling on the relevant authorities to place speed bumps along the main road there. On Sunday, a vehicle ran into a business place, smashing her newly constructed platform. Akeisha Felix says more.
Roslyn Charles Klein has been operating her business on Canal Road, Grenville, for over 2 years. She said within the time she noticed unnecessary speeding by motorists. On Sunday, her newly constructed platform for entertainment purposes was smashed by a speeding vehicle.
We was about to have karaoke, which we have every Sunday night, and I was sitting there where this is a deck we just newly built, and a vehicle coming from this direction ran right into the deck and smashed it, as you will see. It's completely smashed. And a next friend of mine's got hurt. It's the both of us that was sitting on the deck last night. I got my knee being hurt and my foot being cut from a piece of wood that we're not too sure about.
She said in order to curb the issue of speeding, she's calling on the authorities to place speed bumps along the main road.
Slow down. It's a park right there. Progress Park is right there where the children are playing all the time and they're in the road. Just slow down. That's all we need, to slow down. And this may not happen, and lives could have been lost here last night. Just like that, a lot of lives could have been lost. And what I'm trying to do here is try to get the authorities to give us some speed bumps on this road because it's very, very dangerous. This is my second encounter to accidents in this area here. So, yes.
According to the businesswoman, the driver of the vehicle has since taken full responsibility for his actions and will be replacing the broken platform. Akeisha Felix for GBN News.
News at 7. 20 motorists have been charged for violation of road traffic signs in Molinaire. Among them are bus drivers. Chrislina John has been speaking with a senior officer within the traffic department of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
Sitting on a passenger bus and passing through this area. Unbelievable and terrifying, right? Earlier this week, GBN has been reliably informed that motorists are still taking the risk and driving through this area, an area that has been declared a subnational disaster by the National Disaster Management Agency. Earlier today, we spoke with Inspector Rondell Batiste, attached to the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, and he confirmed reports and persons have been charged for using this said area and violating the traffic signs.
As recent as last night, we would have gotten reports of 2 buses that would have failed to comply with that no entry sign at the junction of Molinier and Montmorris. We would have charged over 20 different drivers for failing to comply with a traffic sign at Montmorris, but the situation continues there.
Under the Road Traffic Act, it is an offense to violate road traffic signs. The officer explains the consequence if found in breach. The RGPF has since taken steps to prevent such practice by manning the area.
For the offense of failing to comply with a traffic sign, it is a ticketable offense, or the officer has that discretion if he wants to take the person by summons by bringing them to court without issuing them a ticket. And on summary conviction, they can be fined to $500 or 3 months imprisonment, or can be both fined and confined. I also want to say that we at the traffic department is doing our utmost best to have officers in the area to act as a deterrent. But with that being said, it's also important of the motoring public to don't depend on to see an officer at a sign to comply with the sign. The sign clearly spells out no entry, and the sign clearly says no trucks allowed. Let's comply with the law.
Allowances are given to people living within close proximity of the danger zone. The inspector explains.
Persons who are living within the area, some persons have permission to drive through the no entry sign, but still not to go as far as the danger area, right? So even though you might be, if you're living beyond the danger area, you must not drive through that danger zone. You must reach as close as possible where you have access to do so based on the law and based on what you have access to, but not because you are living in the area gives you the authority to drive through the danger zone.
Inspector Batiste urged the motoring public to refrain from driving through the area, as this shows total disrespect and disregard for traffic signs and law and order. To the general public, he issues this warning.
And I want to warn passengers to don't allow, you know it's a danger zone, you know the bus is not supposed to go through there. Please, if the bus have to take that risk, let it take it on their own. Don't join with them and be a passenger on a bus that decides to go through that no entry sign for no emergency reason.
Reporting from Molyneux in St. George's, where, as you can see, further deterioration has taken place, I am Chrislina John for GBN News.
Now, police have responded to a video that went viral on social media involving non-nationals in what appeared to be a heated argument over bus fare to the far south of the island. Well, the Royal Grenada Police Force has since issued a statement which says that an investigation has been launched into the apparent matter. GBN continues to follow this development and the issue of bus fares to different routes.
Now, 2 Vincentian nationals were told they are free to go after St. Vincent and the Grenadines Crown withdrew its application to have them extradited to Grenada in connection with the GUT Carriacou branch robbery last year. Sherian Blackman-Stephen has this report.
The extradition case against 2 Vincentian men detained in connection with the Carriacou branch of the Grenada Union of Teachers Credit Union robbery has been withdrawn. According to a report by Eyewitness News in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, prosecutors last Friday withdrew an application to have 2 Vincentian men extradited to Grenada in connection with the robbery. Crown Counsel Kyrem Nelson told the Serious Offences Court that the Crown Counsel was withdrawing the matter against Anley Persons and Haya Brown, both 23 years old. In an exclusive interview with GBN via telephone, Director of Public Prosecutions Christopher Nelson explained the reasoning behind this decision.
Essentially, there are some evidential issues that are being reviewed and explored. Those issues cannot really be sufficiently explored within, a timely manner. Extradition is time sensitive. So in light of that, we have requested that the guys be discharged while we continue our investigations.
Parsons and Brown was suspected of robbing GUT office of $26,205.60 EC around 8:30 a.m. on October the 11th, 2019. They were arrested in St. Vincent on October the 25th and had been granted bail pending the outcome of the extradition hearing. Nelson said that once the evidential issues are sufficiently resolved, the extradition request will be renewed.
It's just that they were provisionally arrested pending a formal extradition request. We have indicated that we are not in a position to make a proper request at this time because of the evidential issues we are still working on. So they were discharged from that pending extradition request.
St. Vincent media reports say documents were submitted to court stating that the 2 detained men had signed in to work on the day of the robbery and that they were not in Carriacou when the robbery took place. Cherry and Blackman-Stephen, GBN News.
All right, time for GBN Eye Saw. Compliments Clear Vision Eye Center.
Tonight's ISA features video footage and pictures of Monday morning Juve at Kayak Mass 2020 earlier today. The streets of the Sister Isle was seen crowded with revelers in paints, oil, and all mass outfits. Send in your photo and video submissions via our social media platforms.
It's detox time again at Nirvana Natural Health Clinic Detox Center. The festive season is over, so let's start 2020 looking and feeling like a boss with our many body cleansing options. Purchase detox products as low as $50. Purchase detox combo packs as low as $100. Receive 10% off on all in-house colonic irrigation treatment. Take control of your health now. Don't delay. Call us on 231-6642, 418-7115, or 449-7753. We are located in Belmont St. George's, close to the Fall Edge area. These offers are valid from January to March or while stocks last. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic Detox Center. Detox your way to health.
Make no excuse. Claim those fitness goals with a little help from Quartz. Save big on home fitness equipment when you shop with up to 15% off. Plus, get a chance to win a free spin bike. Shop today and pay nothing until March with Quartz Ready Finance. Make no excuses. Shop and win. Only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
I'm reaching my dreams with GOT. They're the ones for me. I'm reaching. reaching my dreams with GUT. They're the ones for me. Since 1983, they've been serving the country and me like all their financing, giving the people what they want, what they need, what they love. Come and join the family that's here for you all the way, from birth to graduation, your first job to your home and your car through your golden years.
The GT Credit Union has been actively supporting nation building through its many sponsorships and programs including financial literacy quiz, Pass the Torch Calypso program, junior cooperatives in secondary schools, CPEA, and the TAMCC grants. The credit union has helped many people make their dreams come true. Let them help you with yours. You don't have to be a teacher to be a member. So what are you waiting for?
GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
Coming to Grenada.
One of the most spectacular concert events in Christian music. It all happens 7 p.m. Saturday, March 21st at the National Cricket Stadium.
Featuring 5-time Grammy-nominated and 7-time Dove Award winner Karen Peck and New River.
From the American television show The Voice, Emily Ann Roberts.
From Canada, the amazing music from the Chitons.
From the island of Jamaica, the talented and gifted Foster Triplets. Plus the best of Grenadian gospel artists.
Again, this all happens 7 p.m. on Saturday, March 21st at the National Cricket Stadium with some of gospel music's finest, Karen Peck and New River,
Emily Ann Roberts,
the Chitons,
the Foster Triplets,
and more.
Tickets sold at all ticket outlets. Proceeds go towards enhancing youth work in Grenada.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex, or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016. Or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
Whenever we're faced with difficulties, we find comfort in those we know and trust. This is especially true when a loved one has died.
Welcome to Otway Bailey Funeral Home.
For over 100 years, Otway Bailey Funeral Home has helped families celebrate the lives of their loved ones with compassion and dignity. Our affordability, attention to detail, warm and caring staff has contributed us being the funeral home of choice for official and state funerals. We treat you as we would treat our own family. All of our services are designed to help you get through one of the most personal and challenging stages of life, whether it's planning a funeral, joining our burial society, or pre-arrangements. You can be assured of the Otway Bailey commitment to consistently provide the most caring and professional service possible with the best options and price. So call us 440-2558 or visit our website, otwaybaileyfuneralhome.org.
At Otway Bailey, we offer the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Hi, I'm Francis Urias Peters. To really know who I am, you must look at the plays that I've written over the past 30 years, because they reflect hard work, discipline, and my inner beliefs. Now, these values were shaped by my earlier bringing, because I was always curious about my roots and my identity as a Caribbean man. Now, I'm a good listener, and K105 has always been a great source of education and entertainment. Now, while the station name may have changed over the years, it has always provided valuable information which enabled me as a playwright to document and to celebrate our history, our behavior, and our achievements. K105 is my choice. It's the national station.
See it first on GBN. All the
stories. From politics to industrial unrest. Tourism.
Light it up. Light it up.
Station to Grenada.
Entertainment. Sports and culture.
Great shot there of Anderson Peters from Grenada, the Commonwealth Games bronze medalist.
See more on GBN, your most credible source for information. Nightly at 7.
Wait to see my granddaughter.
Grenada, 1795. One man with a sense of destiny.
Tonight we stand our ground. Tonight we stand on the side of history.
14,000 slaves with a dream and a promise. Julian Fedor, a Heritage Theatre production, written and directed by Chris DeRiggs, 28th and 29th March, 4th and 5th April at the Trade Center.
People was not made to live like this. It's like we have a cause.
Julian Fedor, an action-packed historical drama.
I see blood falling from the sky, filling up that mountain river, flowing from Belvedere Hills. I see blood.
4 big nights of theater, the play the nation has been waiting to see, with Sam Ogilvy, Lisa Grappy James, Robert White, Dale Devine, and other top-of-the-line acting talents. Opening Saturday, 28th March. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. All I say we ain't coming back, don't worry. We had to work out a few things in the studio this morning because I have a large contingent in studio with me, and they are letting us know some of the information as it relates to the return of Intercall. To my immediate right, I have Director of the Games, the Republic Bank Intercall Games. Yes, I'll make sure I have it right. To my immediate right is John L. Mitchell, Director of the Games. In the middle is representative of the title sponsors of the Games, Republic Bank, Mr. McKee Griffith. And to my extreme right is Dominic Jeremiah. He's President of the Principals Association, the organizers of Intercall 2020. Gentlemen, good morning. Just as a note, a little later we'll be joined by a representative of the Royal Grenada Police Force, and he'll share some of the security information that we need to know for the Games. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Blossom.
All right, we're getting ready for Intercall 2020. My convent tie is home and ironed and ready for the beef that usually takes place around this time of the year. So we're returning with Intercall in 2020. We had a hiatus last year. 2020, what can spectators, athletes, everybody expect for Intercall 2020?
Well, first of all...
Just pull the mic a little closer to you.
First of all, we want to thank you for having us this morning.
No problem at all.
The dates for Intercall this year is March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd. We have had a hiatus last year. One of the things that the Principals Association said last year is that we wanted to ensure that the games happen in 2020. And we have worked steadily to try to accomplish that. From what we have been seeing on the ground with some of our schools working hard to try to have the meets, It has been, a good atmosphere. I think we saw some of our schools participating in the Kentucky Relay, and you saw the atmosphere that was there. And while it is the case that the desirable atmosphere is to have everyone on board to ensure that there is no contention, it is the case that we have to continue to work hard to make sure that everything is in place so that the games can happen and everybody can have a usual good time.
What were some of the things that you had to put in place, the association had to put in place to ensure that Intercall took place this year?
Well, first of all, we had to make sure that all or most of our principals were on board. I think it is the case that most of the principals understand the importance of working towards ensuring that we have Intercall. I think there are two things that are important to pay attention to. One is Intercall as an institution, for its survival, has to happen. And two, the other students in our schools have had the opportunity to participate in other sporting activities. We have had football, we have had netball, we have had cricket. As a matter of fact, cricket is going on now.
Right.
We have had swimming, we have had Knowledge Bowl, we have had a number of things that have given the students during the year an opportunity to be in competition and to participate as part of the normal culture of schools. And we thought it was important to give athletes the same opportunity. So it was on that premise that we made the decision that we had to do all within our power, even in the midst of the current climate, to ensure that the athletes had an opportunity to compete. So we had a very good meeting yesterday. Both the planning committee and the principals, most of the principals were present, and we looked at every area of the games that we need to ensure is covered adequately so that Intercall can happen. And I must report that it was and some of these gentlemen were present, I must report that it was a very encouraging meeting. And everything from security to the technical aspect of the games, the management of our students, the management of our athletes, we looked at contingencies and ways in which we can ensure that these areas are covered so that we can have a successful game.
Earlier you mentioned the current climate that we're in. Mm-hmm. Last year that climate resulted in no Intercall. How do you think that would affect this year's Intercall? Even though we're having it, I'm sure there would be some challenges.
Well, yes, of course. I think the first thing I want to say is that what is desirable is that we have all our games in an atmosphere free of all kinds of contention. I think the matter that is being pursued by the Grenada Union of Teachers, it is important to note that it's an important matter, and that some resolution must be made as soon as possible so that we would have the desirable atmosphere. And so the Grenada Union of Teachers is well within its right to pursue this matter aggressively to ensure that, the salaries that were docked are returned. So, and that is the matter that is creating the contention at this time. And it is our view as principals that everything has to be done to ensure that matter is resolved. We stand by that, but on the other hand, we feel that it is important to provide the opportunity for the athletes to be able to compete. As a matter of fact, some of the athletes, this will probably be their final opportunity at the secondary level to participate in a game of this magnitude where they could be seen by scouts and other persons from outside of Grenada. And we feel, like the other sporting disciplines, that it is important to work diligently to ensure that they get this opportunity.
Mr. Griffith, let me come to you now. As it relates to Republic's sponsorship of this event, it has really come about following the purchasing of Scotia. Acquisition? Which one is it?
Well, it's a repurchase,
right.
Scotia Bank, Republic Bank, yes.
Right. So coming on board for the bank, tell me more about the sponsorship and the support that you're providing to Intercall 2020.
Well, good morning to all, and good morning to you, Blossom, and the rest of the panel here. Well, Republic Bank, first of all, is really, really proud and pleased to be not just associated, but to be the title sponsor of the Intercall Games, right? The Games has been around for like 53 years, and even before I, comment further, we also want to place on record our thanks to Scotiabank for the support that they would have given to the Games over 38 consecutive years. So having acquired Scotiabank, Republic Bank is really, really pleased to continue the legacy of the Games by continuing to be taking on the title sponsorship this time around, and especially given that there was that hiatus last year. As a corporate citizen, we understand and we recognize the importance of these type of sporting activities to the development of our young people and the development of our nation. And coincidentally, the bank has a flagship corporate social program, which is called Power to Make a Difference. So our sponsorship here is taken on board as part of our Power to Make a Difference program. And that program would have seen Republic Bank sponsor things like the Right Start Football, which is one of our big flagship sporting activities. The under-19 inter-parish cricket, and other activities that, So we are really pleased to be really involved and to contribute to the development of our young people and our nation through sports by being the title sponsors of Intercall. Republic Bank, of Intercall, and to be able to work along with the secondary schools, the Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, and the Games Committee, and so on. We count it a privilege, and we feel pleased that we can contribute in that manner.
Nice.
Yes.
Are you able to share with us the figure or the amount of that sponsorship?
No, I'm not able to give you a figure, but what I can say is that the sponsorship would be to the extent that to ensure that the Games is well funded, well organized, and well run, right? And that all the persons involved would really be pleased that the Games would in fact take place. And on that note, I really want to encourage the general public to come out. I mean, we know what Intercall brings. It brings a certain kind of energy, a certain kind of vibes, that kind of competition, friendly rivalry, and so on. And so we would ensure that, the funding is adequate to have a well-run game. But, I'm not at liberty to give you a figure here this morning.
You'll tell me off-camera fame. Mr. Mitchell, as it relates to the events, as director of the Games, what are some of the things that you need to keep in mind to ensure that the events flow smoothly and we're able to complete the day's events in a timely manner to get these children home before sunset?
Good morning to you, Blossom, and to the listening public. Indeed, that's an interesting question, to ensure that we get the children home before sunset. One of the things I must say, being a part of Intercall over the years and working with our technical officials, I must admit that we have a great cadre of officials who are competent and professional in what they're doing. And I have every trust in them. Every trust in our officials to ensure that our events begin on time. The transition from one to the next is as smooth and as seamless as possible. And that I know will result in ensuring that our students do get home before sunset. One of the things that we've done, and we've looked at some of the breaks and the spacings to see how well we can have it cut down, so at least we can finish in a timely manner. Additionally, one of the categories that would have impacted us last summer when we had intercall, the prep division, what we've noticed is that lots of our schools, they do not have athletes within that division. So because of that, we cannot give an unfair advantage to one set of schools, whereas the other schools can't benefit. So what has been done, the Principals Association, they've encouraged schools to ensure that these athletes in the prep division, they do compete within their various sports meets, so that at least they would get some form of exposure. But having said all of this kind of opens up a window, in a sense, to help us manage our time even more effectively, because that's one category that we do not have to deal with. So I have no fear. I'm confident that the coaches are coaching right now. They are working with the athletes, and you've seen evidence of that at the various sports meets that have been held so far, and even at a relay meet that just went on Saturday, because we've had records broken at that event. So if records are being broken, that means something is working over there. And we know that there's a great enthusiasm among the schools so far that are on board, and we're looking forward to a spectacular event. Intercall, it's a family event, it's a household event, it's a named event. And having Republic Bank on board with us, we know that we are going to give them a product that will cause them to say, you know what, this is something that we're going to hold on to for life. They wouldn't have a choice but to hold on to for life.
The events that would make up Intercall, just highlight what some of those are for us. Remind us, I should say, what some of those events are.
So we cover almost all of the events you could think in a school's track and field meet. We have the 100 meters, and we're talking about male, female, 200 meters. We have the 400 meters, 1500s, the 800s. We also have the field events like the shot put, the javelin, long jump, high jump. We also have hurdles, and we have some of the marquee events that some people look forward to the most, the relays. But I would want to hasten to add, and this is something that we keep battling with over the years. The general public think that Intercall is only the final day, but we have some major events on finals on the first day. Some of the 100 meters finals, they're on the first day. Second day likewise. So, and these are marquee events. It's not only the relays that end it, but it is a culture. But we're hoping that one day that we'll be able to break that culture and encourage people to be out every day for Intercall. So we have all of the regular events that we've had over the years, all of the events that's going to cause our athletes to be looked upon, as Mr. Jeremiah would have hinted. Their scouts who are coming, so when they come to look at you in the 100 meters to see what your timings are like. They come to see you in the field events to see the distances that you're going to throw, the heights that you're going to jump. So it's a matter of ensuring that we have great times, great distances, so that we will have a spectacular event.
Speaking of the field events, this is one of the categories that has grown when it comes to Intercall, in terms of the number of athletes and in popularity. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it speaks well for track and field. And a matter of fact, traditionally though, Grenada has been a strong field event country. When you look at the history and in the javelin and the shot and all of these things, and if you look at what's happening with Paul Phillip and the guys who are there, he's been doing a spectacular job with the field athletes. Up to most recently, we had Anderson Peters, world champ in the javelin. We had Markin Felix in Nakak in the javelin again, and we have Kelsey Morrell from JW Fletcher, and she's doing great exploits in the shot put wherever she goes, whichever country she goes to represent Grenada in. She's coming back home with a medal. At our recent Character Games that was held just last year, we had a number of our athletes who medaled in the field events. So the field events, a lot of people, they come and it's about the track, but there's something really attractive happening on the field likewise. So we are going to encourage the general public to give the field events some attention, and we're going to try our very best to ensure that even these events are very much so highlighted while they're in progress. Over the years, we've seen some of the announcers we've had, they've interacted even more with what's happening on the ground with our field events, and so the general public, the general viewing public, and everyone who is there, they can appreciate exactly what's happening in those particular areas and not only on the track.
Getting the athletes, specifically the schools, prepared for Intercall and ensuring everybody is on board. What are some of the things that you've been letting them know, or some of the things that they should keep in mind leading up to intercall?
One of the first things we did was to make sure that the technical manual was prepared early and distributed to all the schools. So they have a clear written understanding of what the expectations are. Now we have had to, because the technical manual was out so early, so it was out since October, November, it was necessary also to get feedback, and we have gotten some feedback about things that we needed to pay attention to in the technical manual. I mean, it's still open that if somebody saw something in the technical manual that needs tweaking, we still have time to be able to do that. But
so as Mr. Jeremiah so rightly said, and he speaks to the technical manual, so what this speaks to it allows schools to look at the events that will be happening on intercall, and with that now they incorporate it in the individual sports meet. So with that, coaches and the various schools, they are working closely with that technical manual to ensure that these events are also a part of their meets. So come on the day, these events wouldn't be new to any of them. All right, and one of the things, especially seeing that we had that break, and we know that not all of the athletes are as in full training as some of the others. There are some clubs and schools that have been consistently training. We just want to stress the importance of ensuring that those athletes are well managed. All right, when it comes to nutrition and rest and recovery and all of that, we don't want to be in a situation where we come on the day of intercall and a lot of our athletes are being housed in our medical station in the medical room. But we want to ensure that they are well managed on that day, and measures and everything are put in place to ensure that at the end of the day we get the best out of our athletes. And hopefully, with, as I said, with one of the categories not being there, it should be able to cause us now, because remember, these are the younger ones, and it's going to take even a greater toll on them. They may not be as strong as the older ones. So hopefully that should be able to help us to really work well with our athletes, and as we'll keep in constant contact through the Principals Association with the schools, ensuring that all is in place, that our athletes are well taken care of on that given day.
I think it's important to reiterate here also that we're building on the theme that we had in 2018 of care of the athletes. And we want to make sure that going forward, this year and beyond, that there is a focus on ensuring that the athletes are well cared for. I mean, one of the things that we are initiating for the first time in the history of Intercall is the coverage of athletes, to ensure that if anything happened to an athlete, that at least, during the games, that at least the athlete would be appropriately covered.
Covered as in insurance?
Covered as in insurance. It's something that we have been thinking about for a while. We see some possibility of that happening this year and building on that going forward. So it's all part of the thrust of trying to ensure that the athletes and also the officials are properly cared for.
Right. With the removal of the prep, elimination, should I say removal? Removal, yes, removal. With the removal of the prep, how would Intercall make accommodations for these younger athletes? Because we have some well-talented 12 and 11-year-olds. What accommodations will be made for them?
But just before Jonelle answers the question, at the launch, we announced that the categories were going to change.
Oh, okay.
Right? And it was at the Principals Association level that we made the decision to go with that change of the categories to be a little bit more consistent with what happens at Carriff-Taft.
Okay.
So Mr. Mitchell is going to detail how that breaks down.
So we basically have the three categories. We have the seniors, we have the juniors, and the sub-juniors. And they all fall into different age categories. Now, most of the times, the preps, if sometimes they are really good, they may get a squeezing into the sub-junior category. All right? Okay. But the good thing about it is that most of our preps are usually Form 1s. So we are guaranteed to have them for 4 years. So we know if they're really that good of an athlete, eventually that they will fall into the various categories. Added to that, though, outside of intercall, there are a number of meets that these athletes have been participating in where they're not left out. For example, if you have looked at relay meets, there was a category for them. At national champs that will be coming up later on. I know we're not talking national champs, but there's a category for them. With Santa Ed, there's a category for them, and they would be representing the various clubs and schools and all of that. So all is not lost when it comes to these athletes. So we're going to be getting a glimpse of them, and we also get a glimpse of them in, as I said before, the various schools. We would have catered for them within the various school sports, the various school meets. So
how are the ages separated in terms of the categories, the division?
I'm trying to remember them off my head right now.
So I don't remember the actual year, but in terms of the breakdown, it would be under 20.
Yes, which is from 2001 to 2003.
Right, under 17 and under 15. Okay. So there's still the possibility that if you have a good prep,
they can fit in.
That you will fit in the under 15 and may not just have 1 year, but may have 2 years of competition in that category.
Okay, fair enough. All right, gentlemen, let's take a break and come back inside. We're speaking Intercall 2020, Republic Bank Intercall 2020. Keep it locked to Classic and GBN. We'll be right back.
Make no excuse. Claim those fitness goals with a little help from Quartz. Save big on home fitness equipment when you shop with up to 15% off. Plus, get a chance to win a free spin bike. Shop today and pay nothing until March with Quartz Ready Finance. Make no excuses. Shop and win. Only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
It's detox time again at Nirvana Natural Health Clinic Detox Center. The festive season is over, so let's start 2020 looking and feeling like a boss with our many body cleansing options. Purchase detox products as low as $50. Purchase detox combo packs as low as $100. Receive 10% off on all in-house colonic irrigation treatment. Take control of your health now. Don't delay. Call us on 231-6642, 418-7115, or 449-7753. We are located in Belmont St. George's, close to the Fall Edge area. These offers are valid from January to March or while stocks last. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic Detox Center. Detox your way to health.
See it first on GBN. All the stories, from politics to industrial unrest. Tourism.
Light it up. Light it up.
Station to Grenada.
Entertainment. Sports and culture.
Great shot there of Anderson Peter from Grenada, the Commonwealth Games bronze medalist.
See more on GBN, your most credible source for information. Nightly at 7.
You know, one day I woke up and, you know, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. You know, nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. It is 11 minutes to 8, and this morning we're joined by Superintendent Vanny Cohen of the Royal Grenada Police Force as we speak Republic Bank, the 2020 Republic Bank Intercall Games. Good morning, Soup.
Good morning, Blossom, and good morning to your viewing and listening public. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you for joining us. We've been speaking with Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Jeremiah, but from the RGPF's point of view as it relates to security for Intercall, which is always an important aspect of the games, what are some of the plans of the RGPF?
Well, let me hasten to say that over the years, we've been very proud of the security arrangement that we have put on the ground. We haven't had any major incidents in Intercall over the years, and we are very happy about that. This year will be no exception. Security is something that we take very seriously, whether it's Intercall, whether it's National Champs, whether it's Carnival, because we are only 110,000 of us, and for something untoward to happen here and give us a bad reputation internationally, it's going to hurt our economy, it's going to hurt our way of life. And from law enforcement, that is something we protect very dearly. You hear that all the time from the commissioner, you'll hear it from me. Our Little Rock means a lot to us, and Intercalls mean everything to us. This is the future of our people, that's our students, and we want to protect them as very much as we can. Having said that though, our security protocol for Intercall this year will be no different than it has been over the years. We have standardized procedures that we follow. We built in whatever we need to build in based on the event, and I think we have a very good system for Intercall over the years. I've been in charge of security for Intercall, so I'm familiar with the stadium, I'm familiar with the games, I know what has to happen, and all of the mechanism are in place. You can expect what you expect at not only Intercall but other games, the searches, the restrictions, the control mechanism. We'll have the QRF, which are quick response forces. You don't usually see these people, but they are there. Our plainclothes officers are also in and among the crowd. You don't see them, you don't know who they are, but they are there. So we are prepared for any eventualities. We're hoping that this year nothing happens and that we have a nice, smooth, sailing, successful Intercall.
Nice. What is the top security concern of the RGPF?
Our top security concern has to be what is our top security concern happening in the country right now, which is we've been having a few violent crimes. Our murder rate has increased, as you noticed. We have not had that amount, and all of our murders were committed with weapons. So we have a zero tolerance policy on offensive weapon, and we take that into not only Intercall games but every activity that we police in, because we realize where our threat is. Our threat is the violence that we're seeing. Our people have not yet found a way to resolve issues and disputes in an amicable manner, and by and large they have been resorting to weapons. So we will be focusing heavily on our searches. Once we ensure that no weapons get into the stadium, then we can rest a little assured that probably there wouldn't be no violence of any major or serious concerns. So that's our major concern. That's a major concern of the RGPF right now, of violent crimes.
One of the, should I say, customary things that has happened at Intercall, bottle pelting. There's no other way to put it but bottle pelting. How does the RGPF ensure that this is at least limited or does not happen?
Honestly, I don't think there's anything we can do to minimize that happening. What we try to do is to ensure that it doesn't escalate once started, because it's easy. You cannot totally restrict bottles from the stadium. You buy a bottle of water and you drink the water, you fill that bottle back, and you have a missile. And we have seen that. I think it was the year before we have seen that. I don't think this is something we can totally eliminate, because to eliminate that is to say that we shouldn't sell anything at all in plastic bottles. We should always sell it in plastic cups. And I don't think that is realistic. So I don't think we could totally eliminate it, but I think we have managed it well over the years. Once it started, our quick response forces moved in very swiftly. We ejected a few people, and I think that by and large sends the message that there's going to be zero tolerance for that kind of behavior. So it's about managing it, because I don't think you could totally eradicate it.
And another security concern is the after after intercall. School children littering tongue, basically. What are the measures being put in place to ensure these children get on a bus homebound?
I'll tell you the truth. We've focused more on the after-event activity than on the activity itself. The stadium is a controlled environment, and we think we have locked down the mechanism to ensure safety and security in the stadium. So that's the least of our worry. And you're right. The biggest concern that we have is after intercall, because everybody's in and around St. George's, and we have to police that. And I must say here, while we know what our job is and we know what our mandate is, we do not always have the support from the parents, because at times we need to be high-handed based on what is happening. And instead of we get the compliment from the parents, they are the ones now being critical of what we do. But we do have roving patrols outside. We will again have that happening to ensure that Grandin's beaches and all the nooks and crannies that children can go, that we sort them out and ensure that we ask them to take a bus, put them on a bus at times, and make sure that they go home. We're hoping that by 8 o'clock we can totally clear St. George's of all students. Loitering is an offense. So, and that's one of the piece of legislation we use to control children after intercall. If you're waiting for your parents and you say that, we give you some time to do that. But after a reasonable time, we'll ask you to take the bus, we'll ask you to go home. You don't do that, then we take you into custody, because we legally permitted to do that by law.
Yeah, wait for mommy in the station.
That's right. Yeah. If you're waiting for mommy on the NIS for half an hour or hour, and we don't feel comfortable with that, we'll give you a more comfortable place where mommy can meet you or daddy can meet you.
I like it. On the fourth, well, actually, before I wrap up, Soup, it's not directly related to intercall, but the students itself. I've heard of reports of students liming / participating in untoward activities behind the NIS building.
Yeah, well, that has been happening for some time. In fact, we have, I wonder if I should say this here, though. We have arrested a few students for marijuana possession and other issues, not only NIS building, but behind the bus terminus. As you notice now, the bus terminus is all fenced off. Mm-hmm. But they do still find, the way on the stones behind there, and we forever have to be policing these students. Now, that puts a strain on our security apparatus, because when we should be focusing on the more important things, we have to be focusing on a few delinquent school children who chooses not to go home on an evening, but choose to make behind the NIS and behind the bus terminus the place of comfort. But we have been managing that situation. We have been monitoring it. We do that in different ways. I don't want to say what we do here, so but I think we have that basically under control. We don't enforce the loitering issue on afternoons as we would do for intercall and what have you, but we are monitoring what is happening behind these places. We're always there.
Speaking of monitoring, gentlemen, forgive me as I have the officer, things keep popping up. Last week Friday and yesterday there were reports of students being encouraged in illegal activities as it relates to the St. George's Market. And some of the comments have been to step up patrol and step up security in the market and ensure that the not gentlemen but the boys who encourage the students are handled. Any thoughts, plans, or reports that the RGPF has heard about that? Sorry, gentlemen.
No, personally, I have not heard anything about that. And being in charge of CRD, this is something probably would have come to me as early as it has been, is out there. But I haven't heard anything about that. But what I can say, though, is that the Criminal Investigations Department, the Drug Squad, and some of our plainclothes officers, the market has become a nesting place for criminal activities. And so we do not just leave the market square to those who are, no good, if I would say that. So we always have a presence there. You don't always see that presence, but we always have a presence there. Not all the time that we act when we don't need to, but there are times, we do have operations, we do unearth and discover, illegal stuff in the market, and that don't come by just chance. And we have a number of people who support law enforcement efforts at the market, so we want to thank these people for continuing to be our eyes and ears and ensuring the city, the country, and our citizens remain safe.
Thank you very much. Now back to the topic. I apologize again. Intercall 2020. Remind us of the dates, what we need to keep in mind as we prepare to put on our ties. I'm coming with my convent tie again. What should we remember leading up to March, April for Intercall 2020?
Well, a couple of things. One, remember the date, March 31st, April 1st and 2nd. We want to encourage the general public to support their schools. As you correctly said, come out with your ties, come out with your colors, come out with all those things that would show your association with that particular school. We have encouraged and we will continue to encourage our students to follow the instruction of their principals, teachers, the police, because, and of course their parents, because a lot depends on them in ensuring that they follow the law, you know. We want to express our gratitude already to all those other sponsors who have come on board. They are supporting individual schools, they are supporting the games. We want to ask the vendors, we didn't say anything here about vending, but we want to ask the vendor to follow the rules, obey the instruction of the police. There is an instructional list that will be provided as to what is expected of them. The no selling of alcohol, not doing anything undercover that would be in violation of the laws of Grenada, but also the rules of the games. All those persons who have been calling and encouraging, all those officials who have already come on board, and persons have been giving their support. The school base in the diaspora, the games will be streamed live, and so they will have an opportunity to see the games. But also we are asking them to provide support to their schools. You know, a lot of schools are still in need of support, particularly as the athletes prepare for Intercol. And finally, just remembering the theme that we really want the athletes to be properly cared for. We don't want to overwork them. We want to make sure that they're well. We have already made arrangements for the medical staff and the physiotherapists and all those people who are usually on hand to ensure that the athletes are cared for. These persons have already been contacted, and we look forward to a successful Intercol.
Next was the price range to enter the stadium?
Right, so on day one, the students will pay $5. It's $5, $10, and $15. That's on the bleachers. In the secondary stands, I think it's $15 and $20. And in the main stand, day one, $20, day two, $25, and day three, $30.
Okay, I'm keeping that in mind. Budgeting mentally one.
Right.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Of course, as we get closer to Intercol 2020, we'll definitely have you back and you can further share information with us. Thank you again to Mr. Griffith for passing by on behalf of Republic. That's the end of the program this morning. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Keep it locked to Classic and the GBN. We are ready to join the BBC for the 8 a.m. newscast, which I believe is already underway. Keep it locked, 105.5, 105.9, GBN channel 7, 11, and 20. Have a good one.